Bill, I always love talking to you, and it is so great to see you back. Season three of The Sinner. Now, let's go back a little bit here because you were a guy who we know and love so much on the big screen, and you were a little hesitant to take on television. But you did, and I'm so glad that you did. Why did you decide to do it for this series?
Well, I was sent a script for the first pilot of The Sinner and a letter from Derek Simons, the show kind of creator, producer, writer, and the letter was so tailored to knowing me. He described having seen me in a play on Broadway, The Goat, and how that performance really kind of stuck with him. And it's so seldom that, somebody who's looking at you for film, TV, whatever, has got some interest because they saw you in the theater. So that got my attention.
That's amazing. And then, you play this detective. It's such a great role. What is it about Harry Ambrose that you love playing so much?
Well, I think there's some kind of way where my own mind can get intrigued by, the human behavior. And I have, fortunately grew up in a family with a lot of people in medicine, and they're very empathic. They care about people, and they spend their lives doing useful things. And sometimes I feel like I'm having too much fun. I'm not, but it did instill in me this thing kind of empathy, and there's some kind of twisted way where his interest in people, it's not because he's a lovey at all. He's like the opposite of cuddly lovey, but he's intrigued by people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating to watch it. And what's so great about this show too, I mean, it could go on forever. You know that. Like it seriously could because every season there's a new case, like a new thing to a new person, a new why done it. Not a who done it, but why done it, which is so cool to dive into. So that must be so great for you because you get to work with such amazing people every season.
Yeah. It's kind of I couldn't have predicted it, but be able to say to people, well, you can watch the third season. You don't have to have seen the first two, but for those that are watching it move through, there is this connective tissue. So it's got both sides, which I think is also kind of a good part of this gig for me.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Okay, so for people who just aren't that familiar, just bring us up to speed and where are we now in season three? I know that you the first episode you're called to a fatal car crash and it's like, oh my goodness, it's somebody's through a glass through the front windshield. It's pretty, So just set us up for where you're coming from in season three.
Well, it starts with feeling like I'm trying to get my life together, trying to get a better relationship now. I'm focused on my grandson and getting him out to the woods in an isolated place where he can experience nature and learn birds and trees. And there's this, I haven't been able to do that successfully, that kind of staying consistently relating to my daughter's failure, my wife's, but and then a car accident, get you in the middle of the night, and it's unfortunate. The driver dies, the passenger lives, and it seems just a matter of, I'm sorry this happened to you, but I got to ask you some questions to this young guy that Matt Bomer plays, and then it takes eight episodes to figure out who is
Yeah,
this
and
guy.
let's just talk about Matt Bomer. I mean, come on, he's so dreamy.
He's
Come on, he is.
wildly handsome man. Yeah, you would never expect what he's hiding.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but to work opposite him, how was that for this season?
Well, I really have good to kind of enjoy his sense of humor. When and he's really dedicated to this part. I think asked quite a bit of him, and his discipline to be ready every day for 4.5 months. To launch into that, I really admired and appreciated.
Yeah, and then of course in the first season, I mean, it was Jessica Biel who started this whole thing. Now she's the executive producer. How do you like working with her on that end of the spectrum?
Well, Jessica's a great spirit, and whenever she's on the set. It's a real privilege. I always have heard about those shows where, oh my gosh, the producers are coming today. Is somebody going to get fired, or is there something wrong? And with Jessica, it's really, she comes to lift things and just kind of relate to people and integrate them more. And she's really such a good spirit that I'm surprised at how much we want to see her more on the set, but when she goes,
Yeah.
it's great.
That's awesome. Okay, Bill, this is a tough question, but I have my answer, but I need to know what your answer is. You've given us so many amazing roles, performances over the years. What is your favorite Bill Pullman movie?
Oh, well, that's like saying which child is your favorite child. You're going
I
to
know,
get
but
into
come on.
trouble, There's going to be some that go, hey, what about me? That was a big deal at the time you made it.
Okay.
Why don't you give me any love, Pullman? But which
Okay.
one is yours? I'm
Okay.
curious.
Oh gosh, you know what? I'm very Sleepless in Seattle. I go way back. I interviewed you for that movie.
Ah,
We go way back.
wow, that's so good, Bonnie. Yeah, that was a,
Yeah.
that was a, it's a wild one that I first wasn't going to do that part even.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought I don't like this guy's got so many problems, allergies and everything, and then I
Uh,
was so glad I did to get to work with
Well,
Nora
so are
Ephron.
we. So are we. Well, thank you for everything that you've given us. Congratulations, season 3 of The Sinner. It starts. It's now tonight. It's on. And listen, best of luck and come visit us back in Toronto. Okay, we're looking for
I
you.
would love to do that. Looking forward to that.
Okay, Bill. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that.
Good to talk to you, Bonnie.